Hey there, it's Doug Smith, broker owner DHS Realty, and our company has been open for 15 months, and we're having incredible growth. We'll always believe that we're a startup. We'll always pour into our agents, and one thing I like to do is, as we onboard new agents every week, I like to always start and always hit the fundamentals of real estate. And today's a beautiful day. I just got back from the car wash, and that's my new Bronco I waited 15 months for. A lot of supply chain issues, so I actually anticipated the wait and had more fun waiting for it than actually getting it. But one thing that we have is the weather's nice. I just ran this morning with my Golden Doodle, and as I look around our house, my wife's done an incredible job. We've done some renovations, and we've done some new plants out front. But one of the things that's super important is to remember that although today it's a nice little breeze, that in another few months it's going to be hot as hell. And that means that if you are a runner, when you're running through a park, if you're running on a jogging trail, if you look over to the soil, you'll see that there's ginormous cracks in the soil, and that's basically water that's left the clay that's in the soil. So we have to remember to water our foundation. Also, a little clue that's some free advice is if you end up getting flowers, some plants like this on the side of a house, what you want to do is you get your hose and you actually want to have it on a very low drip, and you want it to drip basically to where it gets down into that root. So you can see that that's a little tree, but we're hoping that we live here for a long time and experience grandkids, and one day they'll come out and the tree will be huge. But you can see down at the base that there's kind of like a little of a pool where you can have water and it'll just kind of absorb down into that root. You absolutely want that. If you look at the foundation here, you'll see that it's real snug and the soil is really close to the foundation. That means that I've been watering every 3 days for about 10 to 20 minutes. And that's going to be really important to do as the weather starts to get hot. As we know, last night it rained, and that's fine. Sometimes you even see sprinklers on when it's raining, and sometimes you might say, what an idiot, like who does that? Well, that's actually pretty smart, because what that's doing is watering every third day and not turning it off. It means that when we go long days without rain, and in the summer it's about to hit where we don't have rain, your soil is not shocked by the fact that they're in a drought. So instead, the moisture's been hitting it every 2 to 3 days for 10 to 20 minutes in the evening. We have a sprinkler, so we have it set about 10 p.m. It goes off each zone about 10 to 15 minutes. If we didn't have a sprinkler, I wouldn't freak out. I would go to Home Depot or Lowe's, and I would get a soaker hose. That's spelled S-O-A-K-E-R, and that's how it's pronounced, soaker hose. You see it on the Home Depot aisle, like in gardens. I priced them yesterday or the day before with my wife. They're $20 for a soaker hose, and I saw a little Y connector that screws onto your faucet, and it makes 2 faucets. That way you can put the soaker hose around your whole slab without it crisscrossing across the sidewalk, which might not look really good aesthetically. And then basically, in the evening, about 10 o'clock, when the sun goes down, go turn that sprinkler on for about 20 minutes. If you watch the news, then turn it on when the news starts, and go turn the water off when the weather starts, because that's usually about 20 minutes. You do want to protect your property in the summer, and so I don't do the yard work. I hate yard work. It's not something that's in me. I just can't stand it. My wife will attest to the fact that simply cannot stand to do yard work. But what I do is about every 20 days or 15 days a month, in the summer, I always walk around the exterior of my house and I look for anything that just doesn't look right. And I don't know if you can tell, and I won't show it, but we have a 2-story, and underneath the eaves at the top in the soffit, there's a little PVC pipe that comes out, hangs over a window. And it actually hangs over this window right here. So that's our sink, and when we're in and I'm doing dishes or something like that, if I look out the window and see water dripping, then I know that that's a secondary drain line up in the attic that basically is underneath the AC unit, and that means that it's clogged and water is pooling in that drain pan, and when it gets to a certain depth, it starts to overflow through the PVC and exits out the outside of the house. So when you see that dripping on any house, even if you're showing a home, it might be a good idea to text the listing agent, go, hey, I noticed the secondary drain line is dripping. You might want to get the AC looked at. Again, just doing it as a precaution to give you that information, do what you want. But absolutely, you want to educate your buyer that when you do see that and you're showing them a house and you go around the house, you should be looking for cracks in the brick. You should be looking for any PVC drains that are dripping, and then you always want to look at the slab and see if the soil is really snug up next to it, because if it's not, that could be an indication that there's not a watering program that the current owner has. So again, I'm going to get off Facebook Live, but know that the weather's nice, so head to Home Depot, and when you head to Home Depot, go down the garden aisle, get a couple soaker hoses, get a Y connector, hook it up to your faucet. It creates 2 hoses, and never pronounce soaker hose, soca, because that's not how you spell it. And the use of words is very important when you're a realtor, so you don't look like an idiot. And what we try to do here at DHS Realty is we try to train you up so you never look like an idiot. And I've got agents that are 18 years old, and I've got agents that are 80 years old. And the ones that are in between, they pour into our young realtors. And we basically make an 18-year-old have as much knowledge as Dave Wilson and Lola Fajola, because they're constantly at training. We're pouring into them. So even if they're high school graduates from 4 months ago, which I have a couple in my company, they can look like complete experts by knowing about some really minor things about home ownership. And one is, right now the weather's beautiful, but in another 3 months it's going to be hot as hell. And you want a backyard that has some shade. You don't want a backyard that has due west sun, and then you want to water your foundation. So y'all have a great day. Go enjoy the day, and I hope everybody just has the best day possible. And happy birthday, Mindy Warren. I hope you have the best day ever with Big Ed. I love you, Ed Warren, my man, and Mindy, husband and wife, our tennis captain, Captain. We love you. Hope you have a great day.